What in the heck got into you? You think sending a picture of your to someone is going to woo them into affection with you and go out with you? Is that the way you deal with women?
Some people shoot their shot. This guy literally did that and ended up in front of a judge explaining himself. Today in Jefferson County, Texas, Alan North walked into court facing a stalking charge for sending an unsolicited photo of his genitals to a woman to get her attention. The judge had some thoughts about that. We also have a second case from the same courtroom, a man already on probation for burglary who somehow picked up an aggravated assault charge while on it. Let's see how both of these played out.
We now call 26 CR 159, the state of Texas versus Alan North. And you, Alan Christopher Moore,
yes,
correct? Here with Mr. Dusler, your attorney and the state's attorney. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of the indictment and the arraignment here? Can you proceed in summary?
Yes, sir.
In summary, sir, this indictment states that on or about January 12th of this year in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the third-degree felony of stalking. And that is, listen, by sending electronic messages to another person. It was done in a fashion that would cause a reasonable person to feel harassed, annoyed, alarmed, abused, tormented, embarrassed, or offended. Either of those or any collection of those verbs would result in a violation of law. Do you understand? Okay. You understand what you're charged with fully here?
Yes, sir.
And this is, if convicted, a third-degree felony, which means you face a term of not more than 10 years or less than 2 years in prison. In addition, a fine may be assessed not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand the punishment range that's applicable for any such case as this?
Yes, sir.
An agreement has been reached between your attorney and the state where you would be pleading guilty, not found guilty. So long as you follow terms and conditions of probation, you would be placed on deferred or unadjudicated probation, which would be up to 10 years in length, fined $500. You do well on probation, the term of probation gets shortened to 1/3, 3 1/3 years.
Yes, sir.
If I follow this agreement, you will have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to this charge, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily, that is on your own free will and because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
I'll show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1 here. Did you sign that document voluntarily, understand it, discuss it with your attorney, or the contents all true and correct? State's Exhibit 1 tendered into evidence?
Yes.
Without objection admitted. Among other things, this states that you are mentally competent to enter your guilty plea. It's freely and voluntarily made. You know what you've been charged with. The indictment's been read to you. You've read it. You are guilty of the crime charged and any lesser included offenses. You are giving up your rights to a jury trial, rights to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses, and totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. All of this is true. It states, so help you God at the bottom. State's Exhibit 1 is made a part of the record for all purposes. How long have you been in jail now?
Yes, sir. About, I want to say about 70 days possible.
How's that working out?
Because the Lord's blessed me with another day. So it's,
I wouldn't want to be in there.
yeah, it's not easy, Your Honor.
There's a way to avoid that, you know. Fix it. Fix this mess. There, move on. Have you ever been convicted of anything before in your life?
Well, I completed in 2018, 10 years in deferred adjudication for,
In this county?
yes, a long time ago, yes, sir.
In this court?
It was drug impact court, Judge Gist, and I completed it all in 2018. Since then, I have not been in trouble. No, sir.
What in the heck got into you? I mean, this is bizarre, right? Yeah. You think sending a picture of your to someone is going to woo them into affection with you and go out with you? Is that the way you deal with women? My God,
I made a mistake.
you're supposed to.
I made a mistake, Ron.
All right. Well, fix this. This is a clear mistake here. Yes. Think that is the way you woo a lady? No. Gotta show some respect to number one and to the ladies, and that's not it. Far from it. Shame on you for that. This is just. They'll never do such a thing like this. All right. You've seen State's Exhibit 1, and this states you're mentally competent.
Yes.
And I'm going to find these a statement since you've signed here under oath of truth that you are mentally competent to enter your guilty plea. It is freely and voluntarily made. You know what you've been charged with. You're guilty of the crime and any lesser included offenses. You are giving up your rights to a jury trial and the rights to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses. Totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. All of this is true, so help you God. Yeah, speak out.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1 is part of the record for all purposes. Presented before his way.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing further. I'm going to follow this agreement, and but here's the only caveat to this: the warning. You've been on deferred before, haven't you?
Yes, sir, I have.
Well, that didn't influence your future actions and decisions, knowing that we take crimes seriously, and you're looking at up to 10 years in prison in this one, right? Plus, against no way to treat a lady. You're supposed to respect it. We're going to find you pleaded guilty voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But I'm going to follow this agreement and defer any finding of guilt. You will be placed on deferred or unadjudicated probation for 10 years. There will be terms and conditions of probation which are normally customary. Number one, you will have no contact with the victim. Absolutely not. There will, you will,
Dismissals done.
in any way, shape, or form, by the way, you will complete a moral reclamation therapy program, which is a good program. It helps people realize and appreciate the consequences of their actions. And it's a crime such as this one, where it's clear this is not only a crime, but if poor taste was a crime, you'd be guilty of that too. That's just disgusting. It's not dignified to another person, much less a lady. If you fail on this, your probation could be revoked. You could be then found guilty of stalking and sentenced up to 10 years in prison. How are you going to do?
I want to complete it. I want to complete it all, Your Honor.
Well, I guess you learned something here, huh? There's no way a gentleman should act. That is all. Thank you. 22-40247 is now called. State of Texas versus Larry Dean McCarter. That is you.
Yes, sir.
Present with your attorney, Mr. Dusler, and the state's attorney. There is a first amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation that is currently on the table here and is set for disposition today. Are we able to proceed today?
Yes, sir. We have an agreement.
All right. Raise your right hand, Mr. McCarter. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement that you made during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir.
Lower your hand. Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, sir.
Does he waive a formal reading of this first amended motion?
Yes, sir.
In summary, this motion alleges that on May 15th, 2023, in this courtroom, you were placed on 5 years deferred or unadjudicated probation for the state jail felony of burglary of a building. Is that true?
Yes.
This alleges that on or about December 2nd, 2023, in Harris County, Texas, you committed the offense of aggravated assault in violation of condition 1 of your probation order, which states do not commit an offense. Is that allegation true?
Yes.
Was there any proceedings in Harris County over this?
Yes, sir. He refused a 5-year sentence.
So you understand what you're charged with here?
Yes, sir.
Is this allegation true or untrue?
True.
Are you pleading true voluntarily and because it is true?
Because it's true.
You understand that a voluntarily and knowingly made plea of true to 1 or more violations of probation, that's enough to grant a motion to revoke probation. Your probation can be revoked and you can now be found guilty of this underlying offense of burglary of a building that you were placed on deferred or unadjudicated probation for, and you can be sentenced up to 2 years in the state jail.
Yes, sir.
Knowing all of that, do you insist on pleading true to this allegation of a violation of probation?
Yes, sir.
I find you are pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. An agreement's been reached where you would be pleading true, your probation would be revoked, you would be sentenced to 2 years in the state jail to run concurrently with other cases. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's marked here as State's Exhibit 1. Could you sign that document voluntarily, understand it, discuss it with your attorney? Are the contents all true and correct?
Yes, sir.
States Exhibit 1 tendered into evidence
Okay.
and without objection admitted. Among other things, this states you are waiving all your rights of appeal if I follow this agreement, which I am going to do. States Exhibit 1 is part of the record. Pre-sentence report is waived. Sure. I'm going to follow this agreement and find that your plea of truth to allegation 1 of the first amended portion of this first amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation in this cause number, which was filed on February 25th last month. You have pleaded true voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently. That is enough to grant. And this is to committing the offense of aggravated assault on or about December 2nd, 2023 in Harris County, Texas. That is enough to grant this motion to revoke probation by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. Thus, this motion is granted and your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked in this case. Originally in this case, you pleaded guilty voluntarily to the indicted offense of the state jail felony of burglary of a building. You were mentally competent to do so. You understood and appreciated the consequences of pleading guilty. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea. State's Exhibit 1 had admitted in that plea hearing originally in this case to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based upon your revocation of probation. I am following this agreement. You were hereby sentenced to the state jail to period of 2 years. You will be given credit for all time you have served in accordance with that, which looks like a substantial amount of time. Anything else? No, that is all. Thank you.
So Alan North threw it all away over a photo that nobody asked for and walked out of that courtroom with 10 years of probation and mandatory therapy on his plate. And then there is Larry McCarter, who was already on probation for burglary and somehow still managed to go out and pick up an aggravated assault charge, which earned him 2 years in state jail without much of a discussion. And if you enjoyed watching these two throw it all away, subscribe and leave a like.